talk about how to get hired at Dutch Bros because there is a science. And why do I? It's not about what you are. You might think, oh, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not outgoing enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough to work at Dutch Bros. So I got hired at Dutch Bros a little over a year ago. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to be hired at Dutch Bros. Ever since I was little, getting my not so hots with whip on the straw, getting my rebels in middle school and high school, I wanted to work at Dutch Bros. I thought it was cool, I thought it was fun, they're so positive, they play music. It just looked like a good time. Sharing the science with you guys on how to get hired at Dutch Bros, because anybody who tells you different is lying. There is a science to it. It really is a particular way how to get hired at Dutch Bros, and nobody talks about it. I did so much research because I had applied so many times to different Dutch Broses. I never got a call back. I was like, what is going on? Because I'm doing all these things that all these people are talking about, and I haven't heard back. So I'm going to be sharing the actual coffee with you guys on how to get hired at Dutch Bros. Okay, the first step of the science is apply. And don't just go through the stand. You need to apply online. There is no other way that you're going to get hired. That is what lets the manager know that you have applied. You need to go on the Dutch Bros website, go to careers, sign up to be a broista. Sign up to be a broista. You need to make sure that you're applying to the specific location that you want to get hired. Although, I highly suggest applying to all of the ones in your area. When I first applied, there were 6 stands, and I got a call back from 5 of them out of the 6. If I would have applied to that one that didn't call me back, I would have been like, dude, what's my problem? But in reality, it's literally these 5 other stands would hire me. So that's why you want to keep your options open. The next step is go through the stand. Like, make them remember you. Whether that's going through the stand each day, making conversation. You really don't have to go every single day like people say, but you want to go consistently enough to where they remember you. I would suggest going in the mornings during weekdays because that's most of the time when the manager is going to be there and you want the manager to know you. And most of the time, managers are very good at remembering people's drinks. So if you're getting a consistent drink, they'll remember you. Whether that's a surprise every single time or this drink or that drink, they'll always remember you because managers are very good at remembering people's orders. They'll see your card, they'll be like, oh, that's this person, and your drink will already be made. But when you first start going there, when the barista asks, how are you doing? Or how are you? I'd be like, good, how are you? Has it been busy today? And just making that conversation with them because it'll make them remember you more when you have that conversation because they see tons and tons of customers each day. They're not going to pick out your face and be able to remember it. You want to ask them questions when they have a conversation with you. They'll remember their conversation they had with you rather than the drink they made you. The third suggestion for you guys is after you've gone through a couple of times, you've been making conversation, knowing people's names like, hey, Muddy, or things like that, bring in a resume. Let them know you also applied online. You just wanted to give them a paper copy. And the paper copy will get to the manager, so the manager will be like, oh, I need to check on this person's application online. It's just a good, helpful reminder. It's like putting a sticky note on something. They have a physical copy, and they'll make sure to remember. Especially if they're hiring at the time, they will be looking, and they'll be like, this person, I need to look at it. And if other people know you at the stand, they'll be like, hey, Georgina applied. She's super sweet. She comes through the stand every single day. She gets a large ice water. You don't even have to get something like swanky. It could be free. A large ice water is free. Just going through and showing your face, you'd be like, Georgina, she gets a large ice water. She's super sweet. I think she'd be super fun to work with. And that's all it takes. Here's the real tea. The real tea. The actual tea. What nobody talks to you about. They lie straight to your face all the time. Be yourself. This is a lie. Dutch Bros does not care about you genuinely being yourself. Most of the time they hire, I'm gonna be honest, they hire very fake people. Not even fake people, just people who are very good at faking it. They tell you, oh, we want you to be yourself, we want to see who you are as a person, but really, most of the people who work there are very introverted. They're like, if I don't have to talk to people, I don't want to. But when they see you, they're gonna put a smile on their face, they're gonna ask you how your day is. They're getting paid for it. They're gonna get tips. The tips is most of their pay because you're getting paid minimum wage, and the tips is really all you're making. And when you go to your in-stand or out-of-stand training for Dutch Bros, they'll literally tell you to leave it at the door. Whatever's going on outside of your life, like, it doesn't matter if something's going on, they'll tell you, leave it at the door. Like, Just let it go. When you're working, don't think about it. So that's exactly how you should act in your interview. That's exactly how you should act when you're introducing yourself to the workers. If that doesn't sound like something you can do, I would not suggest working at Dutch Bros. It can be really, really draining. People quit because it's so draining. The next thing I would suggest to you guys is looking up interview questions. If you want me to make a list for you guys, you can definitely comment down below. I can ask some of my old coworkers or my present coworkers, and I can throw up a list for you guys. But I would just do a lot of research. That's what I did, is just looked up a lot of interview questions, did a lot of research. I love to come over prepared. You probably do too, and that's probably why you're watching this video. But I like to over prepare myself, so I would definitely suggest watching videos about people talking about the questions that they were asked during their interview. Obviously, every stand is going to be different. Every franchise, every corporation is going to be different. And I know you probably hear that from everyone, but it is so, so true. I know people who've had 3 people in their interview. I had 20 people in my interview. It's insane. And you just can't always expect the same thing. And that was with the same franchise or operation. It was the same people interviewing, and they did it different just depending on who's applying, who they are looking at hiring. Sometimes it could be a one-on-one interview. It really just depends. The next thing I would suggest is having the most open availability that you can. Most of the time when they're not hiring just because they need people to work. They're hiring because they lost a morning person or a noon person or a night person. So if you can show that you're as available as possible, they'll see that, hey, like, this person can fill all the gaps for us. Any shifts that other people can't work, they can work it. And later on, you can always switch it around once you've gotten more in the groove. Like 4 weeks in, you could be like, hey, my schedule's changing. This is what's up. You just want to get your foot in the door and be really appealing in that way. The last thing I would suggest is researching the company. This is very important because during my interview, they asked why I wanted to work at Dutch Bros, and I just tied in the stuff I learned. So drink one for day and learn what that's about. Learn Buck for Kids and somehow apply it to your life and make it personal for you on why you love Dutch Bros. My cat's like throwing up in the other room. Are you okay? Do you hear him heaving? Not that I'm an interviewer, because being someone who interviews would probably know a little bit more than me, but when I got my phone call back, which was maybe 20 minutes later, I got a call from my manager, and my first manager, and he said, hey Riley, like, I loved your interview. I just wanted to let you know that if you're still willing, we want to hire you. It was absolutely insane. Every single stand was fighting over you, but since I was the first to get in contact with you, I got you. That's how it works. So if you apply to every single stand, the first person who contacts you gets to have you if they want you. My manager and other managers I talked to after that, I would go through the line at other Dutch Bros, they were like, you had the best interview. Our operator said that that's exactly the kind of interview that will get you hired every single time. He said if everyone interviewed like that, everyone would get hired at Dutch Bros. I think I kind of know a little bit. I went in a little over-prepared. But if you guys have any questions, you should definitely comment them down below. I will try to respond to them as fast as possible. I've been working at Dutch Bros for a little over a year, and if you have any questions that I'm not sure, I can always ask someone, and I'll respond to you as quickly as I can. If you can, like and subscribe for me. I'm going to try and post more Dutch Bros content just because that's something that's really relevant in my life right now. Good luck, everyone. You got this. I'm going to try and post a video of all the interview questions that I can think of. I hope every single one of you gets a job at Dutch Bros. I know every single one of you guys can get a job at Dutch Bros if you follow all those steps. I promise you, you can do this. I believe in you.